that. Okay, I'd just like to say that we've seen some positives and some negatives with respect to the government upholding the rule of law. It has not been a smooth ride, but there have been some positive progress done by the government, and there has been some negative side of it as well. But in every democratic citizen, it is for the citizens to hold the government accountable when they fall short. And there are mechanisms in which to hold the government accountable for. One thing we have in the Gambia right now that we can utilize is the freedom of the press. The press is a very powerful tool, and I must say that it's the most powerful democratic tool, especially in the hands of the youth. The youth control the social media, and the youth control mainstream media as well. If you look at journalists in the Gambia, almost all of them are youths. So where the government falls short, we can use the press to hold them accountable for it. We have civil society organizations as well, and these are here to act as watchdogs for the citizens. The civil society as well can hold the government accountable. Since the government came into power, they have made promises that they will uphold fundamental human rights and values. We as citizens have the right to hold them accountable for that. If they say they will do something, they must do it, because we voted them in power because of that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, well, I don't know, because I am not a good mathematician. But I will say that there has been some positive sides and some negatives as well. But we have the responsibility to hold the government accountable for whatever negatives they must have done so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. We'll go to the police. The ministry will be last. We'll go to the police now. And there was this question. Police will promise a permit. You will come to agreement, and at one point, you will fail the people. Because the person who asked the question said politicians will intervene and you will deny them the permit that you've promised to give them. What is your take on that?
I guess Mariama Singate answered that earlier. If we fail in our duties as institution, I think it's your responsibility to write to the Ministry of Justice, at least for that issue to be redressed or addressed. Right? I think that was from the legal-minded people. I'm not a legal personnel. I'm an administrator purely. I did public admin, and my focus is on the administrative issues. That's why I'm a member of the Gambia Police Force think tank, where we transform. Still, I put emphasis. Like, there is one who asks about activism in the Gambia. My life began as a Red Cross volunteer, as young as 5. Until today, I'm a bona fide member of the Gambia Red Cross. So with the activism, it's in my blood. That's why when I was approached to become a police officer, I said no, because it's not my way. But later I realized these two are integrated. I can do my activism while as a full-time serving member. I can influence, at least at some point, to make sure things are done in the right place at the right time, if only you involve us. But you will not do something, in the end you come to us and say, Mariama, blah, blah. Our hands will be tied up. So let's understand activism. Let's do critical thinking. Let's know what we are advocating for. Can we please gauge whether it is in line with our policies? How best can we contextualize anything that we are to talk about? Bring us to your end. That's why we said we have opened up all our arms and said community policing is the best way for us to combat anything in the Gambia. We want to build trust between the community and the police. How best can we do that? It requires our involvement. come and give us the capacity building that you have. Most of you people are intellectuals in your own domain. Bring a concept note and say, this is what we want to address on. How best are we going to engage the police? We will give you the personnel. And then from there, you give us the knowledge that you have. We will tap from you. Equally, we will give you what we have. I think with that, there won't be no misunderstanding.
Mr. Cisse, I think the final questions will come to you. The police have done enough now. Now it's the Ministry of Interior. And someone asked, why don't you preempt certain situations? You'll allow events to unfold and later react.
Thank you. This is a very interesting one and a very tough one for that matter. You know, like a security institution, when information is received, also go in for their planning, gather information, do surveillance. They keep on working and they will engage in people. He asked about the 3 years issue. And like you said, protest has been guaranteed that it could happen. Now the plannings are on, and not that government will wait until it happens, they react. But they are monitoring the situation and engaging the relevant people. And there's dialogue with people also that is going on. And efforts are there. But our challenge is when it comes to the day wherein something happened and we have to admit that we have our challenges as a security institution, because the capacity, the equipment, and certain things are not in place for the police to handle with, to man certain situation. And if that happens, that's where the issue of the issues that he's mentioning come about. That's why before, especially with your longer term plan, the issue of permit came in. They will do background check, interview, and whatever. With all that, they are trying to get the right information from the right people to try to understand the scope. Because if you want to plan, you need to know the scope of the protest, how many people, the area, and whatever. That's why the permit would entail the how to call it, the conditions of that. We understand that we are aware and the efforts are there, but our challenges are more. And let me make this thing also very clear. Our response to most of these questions is based on the current context. But as you're aware, there are reforms going on. And this includes the policy is done, now the strategy that they are drafting. And from there, the recommendations, the institutions have to, the system is being diagnosed. There are problems with it. And now, based on the recommendations, government have to implement. We need a professional police. We know our problems. Who are the people that goes to the police before? Some will say those that cannot make it. And if you want the best, it's the best that have to be there.
Absolutely.
That's the fact. Now, yes. Now we have to be, it's a complete reform and it's everybody's business. The right people have to be in the right institutions so that we can build the right institution that will deliver. And lastly, he mentioned about the holding government to account. Citizens, you have rights. If the police faltered, like the issue of Birkama, when the permit was not given, the youth were persistent. Then we have a letter to deliver. Push and pull. It took hours. But at the end, they were allowed to deliver the petition. Yes, though it was tough, but like if you citizens, we are there for the citizens. If you put pressure, you take the right channel. Like she said, if the IGP deny you, you have the right to go to court to say, why am I denied? And he has to explain. If that is done once, next time he will not use discretion to say, I will grant or not grant.
And Mr. Cisse, you still have a pending question here, and it has to do with communication. Someone asked that question. Why is the government not communicating? And you just mentioned that regarding the 3 years Jotna, you are monitoring the situation. In fact, you're engaging relevant authorities. But why are you not communicating this to the people?
It's not issue of communication here. He mentioned about the investigation that are pending, whatever. We know that the problems are there. When something happens, government will announce that we are investigating. Reports
protest in the country?
These are, democracy goes with these things. And we, as a security ministry, we have to live up with it. We have to rise up to understand that these are things that we don't expect it to come down. We know that these are realities of life. If people are dissatisfied, they have to voice out in many ways. And the government, like we said, I say we spoke based on the current context. The laws are to be changed. The Public Order Act might be revised, or there will be a new one. And if those things are in place, then the restriction will be minimal. But like our belief is, our strong belief as a ministry and our security is, people have the right to protest, and when they apply, they should be given a permit, and they should be guided and provided the right security to protect the properties of the people. We know that is there, and we know that we cannot. It must come up. And the Gambia, the awareness of the people are rising. People are getting more aware. They are conscious of their rights. Obviously, it's a concern, but we have. We are out of time. But then, Maria, I have two questions. One from Mr. Guy regarding the checkpoints, the numerous checkpoints on the highways. Of course, someone mentioned Portland. Okay. On security, actually, some of them are not official checkpoints. Obviously, police stations will just come with a board and position it there. Actually, the management is a bit soft with it, and there should be actions. We've noted it, and it has been a complaint from not even you, even from international partners. They are raising it as a concern that is affecting the flow of business, and also even the mentality of people understanding the stability of the country. Because when you have checkpoints all over, people will say something is not safe in this country. Then we are aware, mainly is operational issue, the discretion of the station officers or the commanding officers of those various. And she's telling me that even the police command have communicated to the area commissioners to remove and either to have official checkpoints, but still, it's still a concern, and we are aware of it. Yes, the issue of the fog light also. We have to admit we have problems. Who manages our traffic? What kind of light do we recommend? These standards need to be established. And for a matter of fact, these things are not in place. You can see a vehicle with different lamps. These things are there, and it's creating more problem. And we expect, like in operation, like those police on duties, if you see a motor vehicle at night, then you park it. But the police must come with a standard light that is required, and yes, it's noted, and it will be part of the reform process. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sise, that was a marathon for you. Mr. Nyasi, I've not forgotten about you. Quickly.
Yusuf, in addition to the question that you asked, I was also shown what the Act says about council meetings. It says every council meeting, except committee meetings, should be open to the public. That being said, does not mean you go tomorrow and attack Brikama Area Council and say to them that the Act says we must attend your meeting. Please, like we have all been alluding to, engage in dialogue, because I think we are all a believer that peace have no boundary. The other way around, when there's an uprising, it has no boundary. And I think we have the most expensive commodity in this country, which is peace, that we must all nurture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nyasi. I still have a whole lot of questions here, but I think, Lamin, you'll keep them till tomorrow, because I'm not sure we'll be able to deal with this. It's over 2 hours now, and then we can't keep our distinguished speakers sitting any further. So we want to thank you all for coming, and your contributions were really amazing. We really appreciate. Yes? She's not tired. Okay.
Please, we're just appealing. You can follow the Police Home magazine on Facebook. I think most of the youth are on Facebook. So the Police Home magazine is a way that we extract information. So anything that you want to express without facing us physically, you can channel it there, and we will gather that info also, please.
All right, thank you very much. That will be all, and thank you very much, Mariama. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your coming. Mr. Cisse, you came late, but you had a marathon. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate your time. Council Mariama Singate, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Mustafa Njai, commonly known as Staff, thank you very much. I will never give you my mic again. I will hold it for you. All right. Madam Day, thank you very much for your time. It's been a worthwhile session, and we appreciate your coming. Honorable Nyasi, you've been a host. We really appreciate your time, and we enjoyed it here. The chef was very nice, and the wonjo and everything was really nice, and the hospitality, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much, National Youth Council, for this laudable initiative. We really appreciate it. I've been your moderator, Fatmata Cisse. The rest of your questions will be dealt with tomorrow by Lead Council Mariama, and of course, maybe if the other guest speakers will be here, they will look at your questions. But thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much. Hello? Are you with me? Yes. Are you with me? Yes. Are you happy? Yes. Are you happy? Yes. Please put your hands together for these brilliant panelists. It's amazing. It's amazing. At some point when I sit down, when some questions come, I say, let me just get up, because this is too hot for me to sit. You know, but the response were quite amazing. I think they are well articulated, and the content has been quite loaded. Thank you very much. And we will not conclude this without saying thank you to, do you know Youth Pa? Yes. Who is the Youth Pa? We are not extending invitation to him because he is also organizing this. Next week we are going to LRR. We are continuing there. Mr. Cisse, we are not extending invitation. We are going to LRR next week. So take it as this is part of your responsibility. Again, we reach out to Fatumata, Mariama, the two Mariamas. We are not extending invitation. We are going to LRR next week. Once again, let me say this. The main purpose is to have a conversation, to talk about things ordinarily we will not have opportunity to talk about. And the mere fact that we talk about it, if they are answered, we expect that we will now use this correct information and share it with those who are not opportune to be here. If we fail to do that, then we had failed in our responsibility. They had taken all their time to be here to share with us what the correct, accurate information. Now is our responsibility. It's a relay. Tomorrow we will continue. And that's going to be another conversation we'll have with the mechanisms. The expectation is this. If what has been said is the best of what we need to know, and we are already practicing what they said, keep it up. If we are not practicing that, make sure that this becomes the beginning, that we get it into our life, practice this, and become the best we want to be. The Gambia we are talking about, we can all say we are all good. Nobody is bad. To ourselves, we are all good. Everybody, even those who think they are doing something different, they all think they are good. But when I was in Renaissance Society and we go to PR Health and others, when we talk about other things, anything that is bad, what we say is, let there be misbehavior, but let it not be me. So that means all of us at Youth Council, elsewhere as young people, if we feel something is wrong, we can say, yes, we may not be able to stop everything, but I will not be the one to do it. I will not be the one to litter the environment. I will not be the one to cause violence. I will not be the one to go to office late or go to meetings late. I will not be the one to sit down, drink attire the whole day. I'll be that change. And I hope that's the promise we should all take from here, that when we leave here, we are going to be the change. What they have communicated is supposed to go to the community, and we acknowledge the fact that this is just a small number. We will adjust next time. We have the Honorable, my own brother, who had definitely mentored me in the previous employment. I must say this is the beginning. From here, The reason I can stand here and speak loud and say we are willing to do because I have Isata behind me. Tomorrow, tell me we want to go to every community in Fonyi and we want to reach people in Fonyi. Come to me, we'll go to her and we will do it. Be rest assured. And I think this is the biggest opportunity we have. And anywhere we go, it's not just the youth, we'll get the older people. We'll always get people like Taf to be with us. So we will get the younger, the youth pass with us to guide us. We are all youth. So again, I want to emphasize that it has been a long day, but you all bear with us. You know, when the session is boring with youths, you hear murmuring. But we have not had anything like that throughout. So thank you and clap for yourself. And I would say that we'll be here tomorrow first thing in the morning for the opening for another session with all the mechanisms and some ministries to be with us. But let's please continue with this positive energy and continue the conversation. We will be in LRR next week and all the stakeholders will be there for town hall. But in addition to this, we have other activities. With the UN Transitional Justice Project, we're also working with on sensitive community policing, youth-sensitive community policing, and we are also going to continue to work with all the actors. And let's remember again, Gambia there for them, Diakuya. Whether you like it or not, it's going to go.
All their videos and pictures on the NYC YouTube and on NYC Facebook.
So please, you can also, I'm just being informed that all your quality photos, State of Mike is putting them up. Videos and pictures are all going to be on social media. Use it and add all your positive messaging and share it around. All of you, you will see a photo that you belong to, that you appear on. So please use it and communicate. And to our amazing interpreters, to our amazing persons with disability, can we put our hands together for them? It has been amazing, and we really appreciate all your presence and your support. So we'll be here, and I will not be able to express how happy I am having this smaller group to talk about these big and great things. We hope that this grow to become 10,000, 15,000 people where we'll have such a conversation. Thank you very much. Well done. Thank you. All right.